So here we are near the end of March 2020 with most of the world experiencing a really difficult situation due to the coronavirus pandemic. In the US, not much less so. We're in quite a jam as we now have the highest infection rate, and we are being given projections that it'll likely get much worse. And I think this is in large measure due to the terrible leadership we've had earlier this year, and the person most responsible is, without any doubt, Donald Trump, even though he says he isn't. I think he absolutely is. And now, despite a rather calamitous approach, it's surprising to see polls where his approval rating is actually up. And I interpret that as pretty normal in a frightening, difficult situation like this. People will approve if a leader is doing almost anything to help matters. I think what Trump isn't focusing on, and he should if he were smart, which he isn't, is that in these types of situations, almost any president would be up at 70 or even 80% approval. And Trump is happy because he's seeing 50% instead of the customary 42%. This, to my mind, is the Jupiter transit. You'll recall that back in the Ukraine period, spring of 19, it was over here, setting off his opposition, and you get classic Jupiter behavior: overreach, overconfident, miscalculations, overexpanding into an area you shouldn't expand into. He did that for a while, and then he got caught, and he had to endure the impeachment thing for a number of months. Now it's opposing Saturn and Venus, which, if you look in the ephemeris, began third week of May, roughly, or March, pardon me, and goes pretty much until about July. So expect him to continue flailing around, making crazy suggestions, and generally behaving in his petulant, insolent way, the way he relates to the governors and so on, because I think he thinks he's winning. He's probably happy with the fact that his numbers are up. He probably reasons, well, I'm doing this and it's working. However, I have a feeling that what's going to happen here is, as the transit shakes out, and especially as we see the Neptune station, which happens around the summer solstice, and it's going to lock into his moon for the first time. And by the way, once it locks in, it never lets go until it's fully through those degrees. And since when it leaves those degrees, it catches the degrees of the sun, we're looking at years here, definitely from now until 2023 or so. But even in the short term, that Neptune in the eighth sign is extremely threatening to popularity and to, let's say, the outing of lies. Lies coming to the surface, and just in general, being in a place where your game isn't working so well anymore. So I thought I'd say that in case some people out there are worried about this crazy experience we're all having, and the possible sense of surprise that, given the way he's doing things, he would be where he is. My counsel is to wait it out, and as far as the situation itself, I'll repeat what I said in prior videos, which is that there's a good chance we have to get through these stations here, definitely the Pluto station at the end of April, but also most likely the Saturn and Jupiter stations in May, before we get any kind of daylight, some sense of the situation clarifying or abating in some way.